evening. Let's start off tonight with hymn number 501. I love your way of freedom, Lord. To serve you is my choice. In your clear light of truth I rise, and listening for your voice, I hear your promise, old and new, that bids all fear to cease. My presence still shall go with you, and I will give you peace. Hymn number 501. I'll read from the King James Version of the Holy Bible. Psalms. The meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Philippians. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Do all things without murmurings and disputings, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world, holding forth the word of life. Luke. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye mete, withal it shall be measured to you again. And he spake a parable unto them, Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? 1 Timothy. Godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which, while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But thou, O man of God, flee these things, and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Micah. He hath showed thee, O man, what is good. And what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God? Mark. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? And Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. And the scribe said unto him, Well, Master, thou hast said the truth, for there is one God, and there is none other but he. And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the soul, and with all the strength, and to love his neighbor as himself, is more than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. And he said unto them in his doctrine, Beware of the scribes, which love to go in long clothing, and love salutations in the marketplaces, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and the uppermost rooms at feasts, which devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. And Jesus sat over against the treasury, and beheld how the people cast money into the treasury. And many that were rich cast in much. And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 mites, which make a farthing. And he called unto him his disciples, and saith unto them, Verily I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast more in than all they which have cast into the treasury. For all they did cast in of their abundance, but she of her want did cast in all that she had, even all her living. 2 Corinthians. He which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that ye, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work. Luke. Then said he unto him, A certain man made a great supper, and bade many, and sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, Come, for all things are now ready. And they all with one consent began to make excuse. The first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee have me excused. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So that servant came and showed his lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor, and the maimed, and the halt, and the blind. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. 1 Corinthians. Whether therefore ye eat or drink, or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. Isaiah. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the Creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. 2 Corinthians. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Do ye look on things after the outward appearance? If any man trust to himself that he is Christ's, let him of himself think this again, that as he is Christ's, even so are we Christ's. Not he that commendeth himself is approved, but whom the Lord commendeth. Ephesians. Put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore, putting away lying, speaking every man truth to his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, for that he may have to give him that needeth. Shall now read correlative passages from our denominational textbook, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, by Mary Baker Eddy. In the scientific relation of God to man, we find that whatever blesses one blesses all, as Jesus showed with the loaves and the fishes, spirit, not matter, being the source of supply. Divine love always has met and always will meet every human need. God is not separate from the wisdom he bestows. The talents he gives, we must improve. Calling on him to forgive our work badly done or left undone implies the vain supposition that we have nothing to do but to ask pardon, and that afterwards we shall be free to repeat the offense. If unwilling to follow his example, why pray with the lips that you may be partakers of his nature? Consistent prayer is the desire to do right. Prayer means that we desire to walk and will walk in the light so far as we receive it, even though with bleeding footsteps, and that waiting patiently on the Lord, we will leave our real desires to be rewarded by him. Constant toil, deprivations, exposures, and all untoward conditions, if without sin, can be experienced without suffering. It is proverbial that Florence Nightingale and other philanthropists engaged in humane labors have been able to undergo without sinking fatigues and exposures which ordinary people could not endure. The explanation lies in the support which they derived from the divine law, rising above the human. The spiritual demand, quelling the material, supplies energy and endurance surpassing all other aids, and forestalls the penalty which our beliefs would attach to our best deeds. Whatever is governed by God is never for an instant deprived of the light and might of intelligence and life. Jesus experienced few of the pleasures of the physical senses, but his sufferings were the fruits of other people's sins, not of his own. The eternal Christ, his spiritual selfhood, never suffered. Jesus mapped out the path for others. He unveiled the Christ, the spiritual idea of divine love. To those buried in the belief of sin and self, living only for pleasure or the gratification of the senses, he said in substance, "Having eyes ye see not, and having ears ye hear not, lest ye should understand and be converted, and I might heal you." He taught that the material senses shut out truth and its healing power. In order to cure his patient, the metaphysician must first cast moral evils out of himself and thus attain the spiritual freedom which will enable him to cast physical evils out of his patient. But heal he cannot, while his own spiritual barrenness debars him from giving drink to the thirsty and hinders him from reaching his patient's thought. Yea, while mental penury chills his faith and understanding. Spirit, bearing opposite testimony, saith, "I include and impart all bliss, for I am love. I give life without beginning and without end, for I am life. I am supreme and give all, for I am mind. I am the substance of all, because I am that I am." The generous liver may object to the author's small estimate of the pleasures of the table. The sinner sees in the system taught in this book that the demands of God must be met. The petty intellect is alarmed by constant appeals to mind. The licentious disposition is discouraged over the slight spiritual prospects. When all men are bidden to the feast, the excuses come. One has a farm, another has merchandise, and therefore they cannot accept. Better the suffering which awakens mortal mind from its fleshly dream than the false pleasures which tend to perpetuate this dream. Sin alone brings death, for sin is the only element of destruction. More than profession is requisite for Christian demonstration. Few understand or adhere to Jesus' divine precepts for living and healing. Why? Because its precepts require the disciple to cut off the right hand and pluck out the right eye. That is, to set aside even the most cherished beliefs and practices, to leave all for Christ. Let's pray together silently for a few moments, and we'll pray together aloud the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Our next hymn tonight is number 92. Happy the man who knows his master to obey, whose life of love and labor flows where God points out the way. Hymn number 92. This meeting is now open for the sharing of testimonies of healing and thoughts and remarks on Christian Science. That hymn reminds me of something I read in the Monitor a couple of years ago. It was just a short piece. It may have been a longer piece in one of the other periodicals, but I read it in the Monitor, and it was the writer was talking about when he was very young. He went out on a hike with his grandfather, I believe it was, and they were going along. He was walking up ahead, and all of a sudden the grandfather shouted at him to stop, and he suddenly just froze in his tracks. And I don't remember, it's been a long time since I read it, but I don't remember if there was an abandoned mine shaft in front of him, or he was about to step on a snake, or there was some sort of present danger right in front of him. And the point of it was that if I had stopped and questioned and kept walking, well, why? That next step would have put him into a bad situation. And I think it's just that hymn just reminds me of that story. And also when Mrs. Eddy was founding the Monitor, afterward she was talking with one of her household staff about choosing the name, and she said that it was important that I obey before I understand. And I think a lot of times we want to understand before we obey, and that's not always best. But we might go ahead and take that next step, in front of the bus, or down the mine shaft, or wherever. And there's just good practical advice in that too. That if you're going down the street and someone says stop, you don't keep walking, and then the bus comes along. There's obviously something important. So that was a really good little piece in the Monitor, though.
No, Junior. Okay, we're not meeting next Sunday. Are we meeting on Thursday?
Are we having our meeting on Thursday? Because we're not meeting on Sunday.
You hear me? No?
Just want to push it off further.
I don't care.
Can you hear me?
Schedule myself, it would be before noon, but I'm going to schedule myself. I'll tell you.
No.
We're discussing,
Oh, okay.
tomorrow would be.
On Sunday, I'll be there. Jenny, her son's coming in town, so she won't be at church, but I'll be there. So you can give me anything you decide.
We'll figure
All
something.
right.
I think we know who's going to be elected reader, so.
I missed that. What was it?
I think we know who's going to be elected readers, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We could probably do it in the office. All right. I'll see you Sunday. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Mid the shade of want and sorrow, undisturbed our hearts rejoice. Patient wait the brighter morrow, faithful heed the Father's voice. Hymn number 263.